University Library has one of the broadest and deepest collections of a research library actually in all of North America. We are unparalleled with many of our special collections holdings, which range from papyrus shards from the times dating before Christ through very modern publications. Research materials in general, but everything ranging from minutes of local union meetings from our labor and industrial relations studies through artist books by current book artists. We are what's called a hybrid laboratory, so we do both general collections and special collections conservation. The bread and butter, as I like to call it, of the work that we do is actually still with our general collections, although most of the material that we get in for general collections repair are materials that are not widely held. So a lot of lesser held journals and monographs where people are still relying on the physical material to be able to access information. So a lot of material that hasn't been digitized and is not accessible electronically. Special collections material really varies. We get a ton of maps. Recently we've gotten a lot of blueprints and architectural drawings, but we also get our fair share, obviously, of rare books. So with special collections, we take a slightly different approach in that reversibility and documentation is really paramount to the way we approach them, because we're considering each of those artifacts to be equivalent of museum objects. We photo document everything. All of our treatments are as reversible as possible. Obviously, if we wash something, we can't ever put dirt back in. But we document that, we record all the physical and chemical changes that we've manifested with the object, and we try to integrate as much of the original object into the repair as humanly possible, as well as anything that we have to physically remove, we make sure that we return to the curator. We have a water purification system, which is a deionized water system with optional recalcification to make a safer wash water when we wash objects. Have a fume hood for chemical treatments when we do stain reduction or adhesive tape removal. We have a suction table which allows us for localized washing, as well as a humidification dome for humidification and flattening. We have a variety of bookbinding equipment that enables us to cut materials, weld polyester, press materials while they're drying. We do have the facilities to deal with mold and water disasters. So in our dirty room, we have a biosafety cabinet as well as a variety of freezers to give us the ability to stabilize insect-infested or water-damaged materials so that we
Conservation as a field, it really fit me well, I think, because it brings together all these elements of working with your hands.
Lifted that jet.
It's a real craft. It takes a lot of patience. While there is a lot of collaboration and we ask each other for advice, it can also be a really individual job. It's very personal. The book that I remember the most really falling in love with was called The Grammar of Ornament. And it was just a book pretty much full of color plates showing different motifs, different patterns, and colors that were representative of different cultures. It was a book from art and architecture, and it was huge. It was folio size, and it's actually pretty rare, but I ended up going online and hunting down a few plates from a smaller copy. That was all I could find and all I could afford, and they're actually hanging on my bedroom wall now. So I did support the disbinding of a book, but these plates were just so incredibly gorgeous that I just had to have something from it. That's one book that if I won the lottery, I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Lifted that dress.
Is it a sin? Is it a crime? Loving you, dear, like I do. If it's a crime, then I'm guilty of loving you. Maybe I'm wrong, dreaming of you, dreaming the lonely night through. If it's a crime, then I'm guilty of dreaming of you. What can I do? What can I say after I've taken the blame? You say you're through, you'll go your way, but I'll always feel just the same. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, loving you, dear, like I do.